Every morning when you open your eyes, you are stepping into a divine appointment. The first breath you take is not just oxygen filling your lungs. It is God's reminder that you are alive for a purpose, that you have work to do, and that today is not an accident, but an opportunity. The way you begin your day is not small, it is sacred. The very first key to transforming your life every single day begins with something so simple, yet so profoundly powerful that most people overlook it. It is the gift of light, the rising of the sun and its impact on your body, mind, and spirit. When the first rays of morning sunlight strike the earth, they are not just illuminating the sky, they are carrying signals designed by the Creator to awaken the brain, regulate the rhythms of life, and fill your body with strength. Science has revealed that when light enters through your eyes at dawn, it communicates directly with the deepest structures of the brain that govern your sleep, your energy, your hormones, and your focus. This is not mere coincidence. It is divine design, an intentional system placed within you so that your days would begin in alignment with the order of creation. The brain has what is known as a circadian rhythm, an internal clock that determines when you feel awake, when you feel tired, and how your body manages energy throughout the day. That clock is reset every single morning by the natural light of the sun. When you step outside in the early part of the day, when you allow your eyes, not through a window, not through artificial bulbs, but directly, to take in the morning light, you are literally pressing the reset button on your entire biological system. The photons of sunlight enter your eyes and travel along the optic nerve to a cluster of neurons called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which signals to every cell in your body that it is time to be awake, to be alert, to rise with purpose. Without this natural light, the body drifts into confusion. Hormones misfire, energy wanes, and the mind remains foggy. But with it, cortisol, the hormone that fuels alertness, rises at just the right level, not in excess to cause anxiety, but in balance to give clarity. Melatonin, the hormone that makes you drowsy, is shut down so that your body knows the night is over. Serotonin levels begin to climb, preparing later in the day to convert into melatonin again, giving you restful sleep at night. One act, exposing your eyes to the morning light, sets in motion an entire 24-hour cycle of health, energy, and focus. This rhythm is not only biological, it is spiritual. Since the beginning of time, light has been a symbol of God's presence, His order, His guidance. The very first words spoken in creation were, "Let there be light," and life began with illumination. In the same way, your day begins with light. When you step into the sunlight at dawn, you are not only aligning your biology, you are aligning your soul with the truth that God's mercies are new every morning. The sun rises to declare that a new chapter has begun, a new chance has been given, and you are called to walk in clarity, not confusion, in energy, not fatigue, in divine rhythm, not chaos. So many people live disconnected from this gift, waking up in darkness, grabbing their phones, flooding their minds with noise before their bodies have even been told it is morning. They remain trapped in cycles of exhaustion, wondering why they cannot find energy, why their mood is low, why their focus is scattered. Yet the answer is woven into the fabric of creation itself. Seek the light at the start of your day. Step outside, lift your eyes to the sky, and allow the morning to do its holy work within you. This is not just science, it is worship in motion, a reminder that the God who orders the heavens has also ordered your biology so that every morning you may rise with strength. The second key to transforming your mornings and unlocking the power of your brain lies in movement, in awakening the body that carries the spirit and igniting the nervous system that fuels the mind. From the moment you rise, your body is craving signals that it is alive, that it is ready, that it has been called to action. Movement is not merely exercise, it is communication. Every stretch, every step, every controlled act of motion sends electrical currents through your muscles, into your nerves, up to your brain, declaring, it is time to focus, it is time to rise, it is time to conquer. When you move in the morning, you are not only building strength in your body, you are lighting a fire within your nervous system, setting the tone for clarity, energy, and determination throughout the day. Your brain and body are intimately connected. When your muscles contract, they release signals that travel through your bloodstream, molecules often referred to as myokines. And these signals reach the brain, awakening it, sharpening it, preparing it for focus. Blood begins to flow more efficiently, oxygen saturates the brain, and suddenly the fog lifts. This is why even a few minutes of stretching, walking, or dynamic movement in the morning can change the entire trajectory of your day. You are literally charging your internal circuits, just as you would charge a battery before it powers something important. If you begin your day without this, your nervous system drags, your focus weakens, and your mind remains stuck and idle. But when you give your body the gift of movement early, you place yourself into a state of readiness, capable of handling the challenges before you. Think of the way warriors of old would rise and prepare for battle. They did not begin their day in passivity. They awakened their bodies, strengthened their stance, and prepared their minds by moving with intention. This is no different for you. Each morning is a battlefield, and the enemy is distraction, lethargy, and fear. But when you command your body to move, you are telling your soul that you will not be conquered by apathy. You will not be held down by the weight of fatigue. You are aligning yourself with the God-given truth that your body is a temple, designed to be strong, active, and filled with vitality. Even Scripture teaches us the importance of physical readiness, that faith without works is dead, that the spirit is willing, but the flesh must be strengthened. When you move in the morning, you are offering a kind of worship through discipline, acknowledging that this body is not your own, but a vessel for purpose. You are telling God, I will care for what you have given me, and I will prepare it for the work you have called me to do today. The beauty of this practice is that it does not need to be extreme. A brisk walk in the sunlight, a few moments of stretching, a short session of breathing with deliberate motion, all of these signal to your brain and body that the day has begun with power. And as you move, your posture rises, your breath deepens, your confidence awakens. You are no longer entering your day weak and scattered. You are entering it as a warrior clothed in strength, as a child of God equipped to endure, as a vessel ready to carry out divine purpose. Movement is not optional. It is the ignition switch for everything else that follows in your day. Breath is the bridge between the body and the spirit, between the chaos of the world and the calm within. From the very first breath you take in the morning, your nervous system is being instructed how to respond to the day ahead. Most people breathe shallow, hurried, and without awareness, and in doing so, they unknowingly program their minds for anxiety, distraction, and imbalance. But when you take control of your breath, when you deliberately inhale with depth and exhale with power, you are not only calming your body, you are commanding your spirit, declaring that peace, clarity, and focus will govern your life. Breath is not an accident of biology. It is a divine gift, a direct reminder that you are alive, sustained, and filled with the Spirit of God. Every breath is a whisper of purpose, and when you align that breath with intention, you unlock the ability to shape your state of mind and body with precision. Science confirms what Scripture has always hinted at, that the breath holds transformative power. Deep, controlled breathing can slow the heart rate, balance cortisol levels, and activate the parasympathetic nervous system, shifting the brain from fear to focus. With every deliberate breath, you are sending signals of safety and strength to your entire being. Think of it with nothing but the air around you. You can regulate your emotions, sharpen your concentration, and prepare yourself for challenges that would otherwise overwhelm you. When you begin your morning with purposeful breath work, you are literally writing the script for how your brain will process stress, how it will respond to pressure, and how it will focus on the tasks before you. Breath is sacred because it was breath that brought life into man at the beginning of creation. It is the spirit that gives life, and every inhale you take is a reminder of that holy origin. That is why when you control your breath, you are not only controlling your biology, you are aligning yourself with the Creator's design. A slow inhale fills you with strength, a steady exhale releases the weight of yesterday, and in that rhythm you find the pattern of peace. Breath is prayer, breath is surrender, breath is empowerment. Consider this: in moments of panic, the breath becomes fast and shallow, but in moments of faith and power, the breath is deep, steady, and calm. The body follows the breath, and the mind follows the body. So when you deliberately choose to breathe with discipline each morning, you are placing your mind and body under the authority of peace, under the guidance of clarity, under the covering of divine order. You are telling your day, I will not be mastered by stress. I will not be shaken by fear. I will move through today with clarity and strength. This is why the ancient disciplines of prayer, meditation, and worship so often involve breath, because the act of slowing down, of breathing deeply, of focusing inward, is the very act of surrendering to God and receiving His power. Your morning should be marked by this sacred rhythm, a few minutes of intentional breath work that clears the fog of sleep, quiets the chaos of distraction, and fills your soul with strength. When you own your breath, you own your focus, and when you own your focus, you own the direction of your day. Breath is the first language of both science and spirit, and when harnessed, it becomes the greatest tool for aligning your mind, body, and soul with the destiny set before you. What you place into your body in the earliest hours of the morning is not just fuel. It is a covenant between you and your Creator, a declaration of whether you will walk in strength or stumble in weakness. Hydration is not simply about quenching thirst. It is about awakening the temple of your body, which has been fasting through the long night of rest. The very cells of your brain, the synapses that fire your thoughts, the networks that shape your emotions, all depend on the flow of living water. When you rise and drink deeply, you are replenishing the vessel God has entrusted to you, reminding your body that life is sustained by the streams that flow from His creation. A body that is starved of water is a mind clouded in confusion, but a body nourished by water is a mind sharpened for victory. And then comes nutrition, not indulgence, not carelessness, but intention. Every bite you take is information to your body, instruction to your nervous system, direction to your mind. Sugars and empty calories send a message of chaos, short bursts of energy that fizzle into fatigue, leaving you vulnerable to distraction and weakness. But when you choose what is pure, whole, and strengthening, you are telling your body to rise in stability, endurance, and clarity. It is no accident that Scripture speaks of bread as life and water as renewal. For the Creator knew that what sustains the flesh can also anchor the spirit. Mornings were never meant to be drowned in stimulants and toxins, but to be ignited with what uplifts the temple of God within you. Science testifies to this truth as well. Hydration regulates blood flow, carrying oxygen and nutrients to every corner of your being. Proper nutrition stabilizes blood sugar, preventing the crashes that rob you of focus and joy. The brain, though only a fraction of your body's mass, demands a lion's share of your energy, and when starved of quality fuel, it begins to falter. But when you provide it with balance, proteins, fats, minerals, and the living water, it awakens, it sharpens, it begins to burn with the fire of clarity. Your choices in those first meals and sips are not small. They are the difference between mediocrity and mastery, between stumbling through your day and standing firm in strength. Think of it spiritually. The Israelites in the wilderness could not move without manna, and yet God instructed them to gather each morning, not storing up for tomorrow, but honoring the rhythm of daily provision. So too are you called to honor each morning with wisdom in what you consume, recognizing that your body is not your own, but a vessel of divine purpose. To neglect it is to dishonor the one who formed it. To nourish it is to consecrate it as an instrument of His will. Your morning hydration and nutrition are not about dieting or vanity. They are about consecration. They are about positioning your body, mind, and spirit for the battles and blessings of the day ahead. When you rise and fill yourself with what is living, whole, and strengthening, you are not just preparing your biology, you are declaring war on weakness, you are stepping into alignment with divine design, and you are preparing your mind to operate in the fullness of focus and strength that God has promised you. When you open your eyes and immediately flood your soul with the noise of the world, you are handing over the keys of your mind to chaos. The first minutes of your morning are sacred, they are holy ground, and what you allow into your thoughts in that fragile state can either build you or break you. The temptation to grab a phone, to scroll endlessly through images and distractions is not harmless. It is a slow erosion of your focus, a rewiring of your brain to crave confusion rather than clarity. Science has revealed that the circuits of attention are delicate, pliable, and they are most impressionable when you first awaken. To drown them in digital chaos is to teach your mind to be scattered, restless, and unanswered. But when you withhold that flood, when you guard those opening moments, you protect the sanctity of your focus, and you tell your brain that today it will serve its higher purpose. There is a reason Scripture commands us to be still and know. Stillness is not the absence of action, it is the preparation of power. To begin your day in silence, in prayer, in reflection, is to set the compass of your heart toward heaven and not toward distraction. The voices of the world will clamor for your attention, but if the first voice you heed is divine, then every other sound loses its grip on your soul. This discipline of protecting your focus is not weakness, it is warfare, for the enemy thrives in noise and confusion, but he trembles before a mind that is anchored in peace. Your brain was designed to operate in rhythms, and the morning rhythm is the most powerful of all. What you input in those sacred minutes becomes the blueprint for how you think, decide, and act throughout the day. Digital devices trick the mind into endless novelty, weakening the circuits of deep thought, but when you resist, you strengthen the pathways of discipline, patience, and focus. This is not superstition, it is neurobiology. Dopamine, the molecule of motivation, is easily hijacked by screens and notifications. But when you guard it, when you dedicate it to meaningful pursuit rather than cheap distraction, you preserve the fire that fuels success and purpose. Imagine it spiritually. The priests of old did not rush into the Holy of Holies with clamor or noise. They entered with reverence, with focus, with stillness. Your morning is your Holy of Holies. It is the moment you choose whether to step into the presence of God with clarity or stumble into the world with chaos. To avoid immediate digital input is to declare that your mind belongs not to algorithms and distractions, but to the one who created it. It is to say, my thoughts will not be enslaved, they will be consecrated. Every warrior knows that the first strike sets the tone of battle. If you begin your day defending your focus, you will carry that shield throughout every hour. The greatest victories are won not in noise but in silence, not in distraction but in devotion. Guard your mornings as you would guard your soul, for in doing so you protect the most sacred resource. God has given you the ability to direct your mind toward the purpose for which you were created. When you rise each morning, you are not simply waking from sleep. You are being handed a blank page from the author of life, a chance to write the story of the day ahead. What you inscribe upon that page is determined by the intentions you set in those first moments. Intention is not wishful thinking. It is not vague desire. It is the spiritual act of aligning your mind, your heart, and your actions with the will of God and the calling He has placed upon your life. Neuroscience shows us that when you declare your focus, when you visualize your path, you are literally shaping the circuits of your brain to carry it out. But Scripture teaches us that intention is far deeper than biology. It is covenant. It is saying, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord," and then structuring your day to reflect that vow. Without intention, the mind drifts like a ship without a rudder, pulled by currents of distraction, tossed by winds of circumstance. But when you set your intentions in the morning, you seize the wheel of your life and fix your course toward destiny. The enemy would have you believe that your day is dictated by chaos, by pressure, by circumstance. Yet God has given you dominion, the authority to declare where your mind will go, what your eyes will focus on, what your hands will build. And science agrees, neurons that fire together wire together. When you set an intention rooted in truth, your brain begins to wire itself for discipline, for resilience, for breakthrough. Think of Joshua before leading Israel into the promised land. He did not move without command, without clarity, without the presence of God directing his path. Your morning intention is your Jericho march. It is the declaration that walls will fall, that victories will come, that your steps will not be wasted. When you write, speak, or pray your intentions aloud, you are activating both the circuits of your brain and the authority of your spirit. Heaven hears, your body responds, and the day bends toward the vision you have declared. There is immense power in beginning your morning with gratitude, for gratitude is the seed of intention. To thank God for what you have is to prepare your heart for what he will entrust you with next. Gratitude sharpens focus, melts fear, and sets your mind on abundance rather than lack. Pair it with a declaration of your mission, whether to love your family well, to work diligently, to overcome temptation, or to pursue a dream, and you are etching a pattern into your brain that guides your every decision. The world begins its mornings reacting. Emails, news, noise, endless demands. But you are not called to react, you are called to reign. And reigning begins with ruling your mind through intention. When you choose to set your course with prayer, with focus, with clarity, you step into the day as a conqueror, not a captive. You align the invisible with the visible, the spiritual with the physical, the eternal with the present. And in doing so, you harness the full power of the brain God designed and the spirit he placed within you to turn ordinary days into extraordinary victories.